guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mayank and I'm a second year student at HEC Paris majoring in marketing. And if you've been here a while, what do you think of my mustache? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, so a few weeks ago, I put out a Q&A on my Instagram asking you guys to ask me any questions that you have about the round 2 admissions at HEC Paris. And in this video, I'm going to be answering more than 30 of those questions that you guys have asked me. And if you haven't already, go follow my Instagram. And while you're following my Instagram, you might want to consider joining my email list as well. Alright, so let's get straight right into it. Question number 1. Is it recommended that you apply in round 2 or is it okay to apply in round 3? Alright, so according to the FAQ on the HEC Paris website, they say that there's no difference between the rounds you apply in. But application is really competitive and they recommend that you apply as early as possible. And as far as I know, this is what it was in 2018 when I joined. That round 1 and round 2 were pretty much the same when it comes to how hard it is to get in. But after round 2, it gets progressively harder as they start filling up only the remaining seats. So yeah, honestly, if you can do it, apply in round 2. Don't wait till round 3. Question 2. I don't have any work experience. Should I still apply for round 2? It doesn't matter whether you have work experience or not, you're not gonna get any more work experience between the 2 rounds. So yeah, apply in round 2 because the earlier you apply, the better your chances of getting in. Question number 3. Is it okay if someone has 2 years of experience while applying? Totally okay. In fact, even encouraged. For the MIM, it's generally said that it's for people with up to 2 years of experience. In my experience, 1 to 2 years of experience is the sweet spot. You're already a bit more experienced and can probably make much better use of the opportunities that you're gonna get at HEC. I think I use the word experience a lot, but alright, moving on. Next question. Has the situation this year changed the admission scenario? Honestly, it's hard to say. I do think that it might actually get more competitive because the people who wanted to go in 2020, a lot of them pushed their decision to go to this year, 2021. And also at the same time, there's many people who don't want to get into the job market yet, or maybe they want to take a break from working because they lost their job or whatever, and they're gonna apply for 2021 as well. So yeah, it actually might get more competitive. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know. I mean, there's no research that's backing this up. Next question. What should you write in your essays when they ask for short-term goals? Your short-term goals, according to me at least, are what you see yourself doing immediately after you graduate from HEC. At least for the next couple of years after that. You should talk about where you see yourself working. Is it in France? Is it back in your home country? Is it in a completely different country? And you should also talk about what you see yourself doing, which industry you want to work in, what kind of a job position you want, or if entrepreneurship is your vibe, you should totally mention that. What are your ideas? Do you want to start a business? And if so, do you want to start it back home? Do you want to start it in France? What do you see yourself doing right after you graduate? Next question. How do you make your application competitive for getting a scholarship? So a high GMAT score really helps, as well as great motivation letters. I could say that you should volunteer or have any other crazy projects, but I'm not gonna say that since, you know, they're just looking for all-round exceptional profiles. And there's more than one way of getting there. It's not just if you do this, you're gonna get it, or if you do that, you're gonna get it. And you know what? I have an entire video about scholarships. You should totally go check it out. Question number 7. What all financial aids can one receive? Again, check out my scholarships video. There's a lot of information on that. Next question. How does the admissions committee verify our extracurriculars? Great question. I don't know. But don't lie on your applications because, you know, if they find out, it's really not going to look good on you. Just don't do it. Question number 9. What all other colleges did I apply for when I applied for the MIM? So I was pretty dead set on going to France, so I applied for ESSEC and HEC because HEC is number 1, ESSEC is number 2. And my idea was that if I wouldn't have gotten into either of those two in round 1, I would have applied for ESCP as well as Rotterdam School of Management just to mix things up a bit for round 2. But as you can tell, I got into both of them and so that didn't happen. Question number 10. Does an undergrad from a reputed college like NITK or any other college, you know, any other reputed college for that matter, strengthen your profile? You know what? Totally, it does. Not gonna lie. But you know, if you don't have an undergrad from a top college, that's okay too. There's other ways that you can make up for that on your profile. Check out my video on building your profile because, you know, I'm not from NIT or IIT either. I'm from Manipal, which, while not a bad college, it's not one of the top in India. And in my video, I go into how I built my profile. So yeah, go check that out. Question 11. Does undergrad GPA play a major role in your application? You know, it definitely plays a role, but at the same time, it's just one part of your entire application. If you have a low GPA, you can make up for it through other means. Again, it's all covered in my building your profile video. It's all linked down below in the description. And maybe it's even gonna show up somewhere here. So yeah, just go check it out. Question 12, 13, 14, and 15, as well as 16. Again, I can't say that you should do this or you should do that to get into a top school. What I can say is that it's all about making sure that what you're doing, going to that school, it fits in within your goals and objectives, and it all forms part of a cohesive story. Again, watch my video on building your profile. I go into detail for all of these things. Question number 17. This one's a bit more specific. Is it necessary to have a CFA level 1 before entering into the finance program? So I'm not into finance, I haven't done finance, but I reached out to a good friend of mine who's doing the major in finance and I asked him about it, and this is what he said. Alright, so after covering all those questions about admissions, in this section we're gonna cover questions about the program itself. Is getting a job really a struggle for international students after HEC? You know what guys, I actually can't speak about this with first-hand experience because I haven't actually started my job hunt yet. However, from the seniors that I'm aware of and from my general understanding of how things are going, I know that it has been hard for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's not impossible. Also, that's the case for everyone, not just the internationals, but also the French. But yeah, of course, not being French and not knowing French definitely doesn't make it easy for you. So the thing is that in France, if once a company hires you on a permanent contract, it's really hard for them to fire you or let you go. And that's why companies are very super selective about whom they hire. But you know what? On the flip side, once you've got a job in France, you're pretty set. You can stay here for as long as you like. As long as you have the job, of course. And you will get a visa. It's not like the US where, getting a job is just the first thing, but then getting the visa and then getting the H1B and then getting it renewed. In France, once you've got a job, you get the visa. It's especially if you get a job straight after studying. So yeah, in a nutshell, it's hard to get a job, but once you've got a job, you're pretty much set. There's no issue with a visa. It's unlike the US where getting a job is just the first step and then getting a visa is the next thing, which may or may not happen. So yeah, it is hard to get a job, but there's a flip side to it as well. Question number 3. After the MIM, which automobile company can I work in and in which location? That's the beauty of studying at a European business school. And a top one, like HEC. You're free to apply to any company you like, anywhere in Europe and, anywhere in the world as well. And that includes all the automobile companies that you know of. If you're looking for specific examples, I do know that Porsche hired some students from HEC for an internship in Atlanta in the US. And getting a job at Renault in France is not unheard of either. And in fact, Renault and HEC even have a partnership. Recently, for one of my courses, we presented a project to Renault, so that was pretty cool. I would recommend go search for all the automobile companies and for that matter, all the other companies that you're interested in and see what kind of positions they have available in Europe and what they're looking for and if your profile fits the bill. And that's how you know what you can apply for. Question 4. How hard will it be for me to get an internship in consulting if I get into HEC without any work experience, internship or full-time? Realistically, it will be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. First of all, if you want to work in consulting in Europe, you're already going to be at a disadvantage if you don't speak any European language natively. People do, however, get internships as well as full-time positions in consulting in places like London, Brussels and Dubai, as well as Germany. But yeah, these positions are quite competitive to get into. And if you haven't done any work experience or internships, yeah, things are not going to be in your favor. So it will be a bit hard to get into consulting without any experience whatsoever. Question number 5. Reality of getting jobs after the 10-month program in strategy. This largely also depends on what your background is before you come to HEC. If you're coming straight from your bachelor's without any work experience at all, yeah, it might be hard. But on the other hand, if you're coming with 2 years of experience at top firms, it may not be as hard. Look, anything job related at a master's program, particularly one in business, it always depends on what your background is. And also a little bit on your luck. See, unlike in your bachelor's, in the master's program, there's people with 0 years of experience, there's people with 2 years of experience. Among the people with 2 years of experience, there's people who come from top firms and then there's people who come from relatively lesser known firms. Your experience of finding a job is really going to differ depending on what kind of a background you have before coming. And so it's not fair to compare. It's not even fair to compare with your own classmates once you're already in here. I know it's hard, but it's really difficult to give a general answer on what the job scene is going to look like. What I can tell you is that there's plenty of jobs that you can apply for. Almost everyone that I know of has got a job, whether it's in France, it's in Europe, it's elsewhere in the world, or back in India if they wanted to go back. If you're coming to a school like HEC, if you're talented enough to get into a school like HEC, I don't think you're gonna have that much of a problem eventually to get a job. But yeah, it's hard. It's not gonna be easy, but anything worthwhile is not easy. Question 6. What's the batch size of the MIM? So when I joined in 2018, there were around 250 or so international students in my cohort. And I think a similar number of French students as well, maybe more. Question 7. Do teachers help in finding internships? Some of them actually do. Many of them have industry connections because they worked in the industry for a long time before starting to teach. And some of them could probably recommend you to firms and positions to apply for. Or maybe put you in touch with people at the company that you're interested in. Question number 8. How are internship opportunities at HEC as compared to ESSEC in the gap year? Honestly, as far as I know, things are pretty similar because they're both top schools. At HEC, there's a gap year. At ESSEC, it's a bit more flexible. You can start your internship the moment you get it. Or you can do an apprenticeship, which basically means that you're studying and working at the same time. A couple of days of the week at work, couple of days studying. Question 9. How do I get the best out of the MIM course? With or without work experience? I could actually dedicate an entire video to this, but if I could answer this question in a succinct way, I would say, know what you want. The clearer an idea that you have of what you're looking for from this experience of coming to HEC or any other business school in Europe, the better you'll be able to grab the opportunities that come your way. When you know what your priorities are, you'll be able to manage your time better and say no to distractions. You'll know what to say yes to, you'll know what to say no to. And overall, by knowing what you want, you're gonna have a much more headstrong mindset. So yeah, I would recommend think a lot, meditate on this, know what you want. It's gonna help you a lot. Alright, so in this last section, after speaking about the admission scenario and the program, let's talk about the HEC life. Question number 1. How is the hostel life at HEC Paris? This is a fantastic question. Hostel life at HEC can range from super boring to super duper fun, depending on the time of the semester that we're talking about, the kind of friends you've made, the kind of neighbors you have, and most importantly, how you are as a person and what kind of interests you have. In my M2 year in marketing, I was lucky enough to have some pretty fun classmates who I got along really well with. And since we're only 34 in this class, we're pretty tight-knit. This led to a really fun time on campus, and even now, I'm back in India, but we're still doing drinks over Zoom, and that's like super fun. In my first year, to be honest, things were a bit more challenging for me. Coming to an entirely new country with an entirely new language and culture without knowing anybody, and being in such a huge batch of students, everyone from different backgrounds having different interests and objectives, it took me some time to make some good friends. But once I did make good friends, it was pretty fun as well. But I don't think that's just HEC, that's just who I am as a person. I take longer to make good friends. I'm super outgoing, but to make really good deep connections, it takes me a lot more time than I guess most other people. Actually, I don't know how I am in comparison with other people, but it does take me quite some time. But irrespective of your friend situation, at HEC there's always something fun going on. A party in someone's room, drinks outdoors, some kind of dinner, and company networking events with free alcohol and food, which is always fun. You just need to know about it and go for it. People are generally pretty chill and open, there's always parties happening. Of course, this year in 2020, things are a bit different, but we can hope that things return back to normal very soon. At the same time, things can get pretty boring sometimes, especially if you're not in the mood to party, or you're not a party kind of a person, or if you're just not in the mood to hang out with people, which, can happen sometimes. Happens to me. HEC is in the middle of nowhere, so it's really difficult to go to places spontaneously. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to go to Paris and requires some planning, so that's not so much of an easy option, to go and have fun. There's also not a lot of things to do on campus except for taking walks by the lake, which I made a video about, go check it out. Or playing sports if you're into that, and I'm not so much of a sports person. If any HEC students are watching this video, please let me know if I'm wrong and I'm missing out on some really fun things happening. Question 2. What does HEC stand for? HEC stands for École des Hautes Études Commerciales de Paris, which literally translates to School for Higher Studies in Business. Question 3. My experience of studying at HEC. This question also warrants its own video, but I'm gonna answer it pretty shortly here. My experience has been intense, but rewarding. Really rewarding. Studying at HEC has really pushed me outside my comfort zone, much more than I ever expected it to. It's exposed me to new ways of thinking of and solving problems, and it has forced me to think and act like a leader. Getting into HEC is just the first challenge. Getting through HEC and making it out through the other end, full of knowledge and experiences, that's the real challenge. Because everyone's experience is different, and you have full control and full freedom to choose what your experience is going to be like. And you are the only one responsible for ensuring that you have the kind of experience that you want. And yeah, so that's a lot of pressure. That's what makes it intense as well. Because when you're at HEC that you could either be making great use of all these opportunities, or you could be throwing it all down the drain. It's all in your control. And the admissions committee, I think, is looking for people who know how to navigate that, who know how to make the best use of the HEC experience to get what they want. Question 4. What kind of people do I meet at HEC? I've met people from a variety of different countries, nationalities, people with multiple different nationalities, multiple different backgrounds, as well as professional and personal backgrounds. I've met people that I've agreed with and I've met people that I've not agreed with, but I've never met someone who I didn't have anything to learn from. Everyone at HEC has a little something extra. They have that little X factor in them that makes them unique, that makes them interesting to talk to and to learn from. You just need to dig in to uncover it. Question number 5 and 6 about part-time job opportunities as well as apprenticeships or stipends. Basically, ways of making money while you're in school. As I've mentioned in my expenses video, which you should go check out, unfortunately, there's no part-time job opportunities in or around campus. HEC also does not allow apprenticeships. So, in a nutshell, your options for earning money during the semester, during the school year, are quite limited. So there's really no way to fund your own studies and time at HEC, unfortunately. Question number 7 and the last one, how do I manage my expenses in a country like France? Again, check out my expenses video. It's linked below in the description. In that video, I talk about how much I spend on a monthly basis and what the general expenditures are like. So yeah, go check that out. Alright, this video ended up being a pretty long one, but I hope it helped you out. And if it did, please give me a thumbs up, it really helps me out. And consider hitting that subscribe button because I'm gonna be uploading a lot more content just like this every single week. I'm super sorry for not being regular the last month with uploading. I just finished my first semester of the second year in marketing and it was quite intense. The last 1 month was crazy. You know, I traveled back home from Paris to Bangalore in India. And you know, the moment I came back, I was like pushed into like these last final 2 weeks of the semester where there was so many presentations, group projects, meetings, classes, one essay to write. You know, it was really insane. Doing all that while adjusting to coming back home, yeah, it was a bit challenging, and that's why YouTube had to be put on a bit of a back burner the last 1 month. But I'm back. I'm going to be uploading videos every week, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. You might also want to check out either of these two videos, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.